as just their area.
Right.
And that's why we have to work together. And then finally, you have R, which stands for recovery. Recovery is a lifelong process. And employers need to know that. Drug addicts know it. People in recovery know it, but employers need to know it, family members need to know it, and insurance companies need to know it. Everybody needs to understand that a person in recovery, it's a lifelong challenge for them every day. There's some wonderful people out there that are in recovery that have done an incredible job and still go to AA meetings after 30 years of being drug or alcohol free. And so that's the bottom line. Prevention, enforcement, treatment, education, and recovery.
All right. And a big part of what's happening in the sheriff department as it stands today without you is the fact that if a drug addict gets thrown into the jail, he stole something, and so that's what ends up getting him to jail. But he's not receiving treatment in the prison, right, or in the jail.
There are some programs that are in the jail, but in my opinion, it is a program set up to appease people but not treat people in its entirety. Meaning, it's not a 24-hour cycle program.
Right.
It's not a major issue where you're directing it straight towards the person, where it becomes part of their lifestyle during the time that they're in a correctional in the correctional institution. It's an AA meeting here and there. It's meeting with someone here and there, whereas I'd like to create, and I will create, and I have a plan for it, a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week operation that works with people who are in serious need of treatment to help facilitate the road into recovery when they get on the outside.
Right, because if we don't get them into a treatment and recovery, the recidivism rate is just huge, right? They're going to be back.
Under the current administration at the Sheriff's Department, they've gone from a recidivism rate from 59% to 64%. For your listening audience, recidivism is a fancy textbook word for people who they're reoccurring offenders who get locked up again for committing more crimes. So absolutely, it continues to increase, and we're not going to stop the revolving door of recidivism and relapsation without treating these individuals. That is the root of almost all problems we have in society when it comes to crime, is people commit crimes when they're addicted to drugs.
Yeah, so that's huge, and I hope people really understand this. When I first made contact with you and heard this, I actually found you on YouTube. I think was the first time that I saw something, wasn't it?
Right. There's a Ken Magee for Sheriff YouTube where it's a 4-minute video that I talk exactly about what you spoke about.
Yep. And for the record, that's Magee, Magee 4, the number 4, sheriff.com. Magee 4 Sheriff. That's the number 4, Magee4Sheriff.com. And that's a great, go see those videos, folks. I'm telling you, they're awesome. Spread them around on Facebook, spread them around on Twitter. Get people out there to see that video. It'll only take you a couple minutes, and it's very, very eye-opening.
I answer all my emails. I answer all my Facebook messages. I'm looking for people to continue to support me, whether it be if you believe in my message and you want to put yard signs out or invest in my campaign. I'm looking for any assistance I can. I've got a great group of people working with me already. But what we need to have here is a revolution when it comes to treatment of these individuals.
Right.
We stop that problem, our community will be even more safe, better place to live, and families will thrive and it's so painfully obvious to me what I'm saying, but I just wish I could get other political leaders to embrace exactly what I'm saying and other law enforcement leaders to embrace exactly what I'm saying, because I know that is the right way.
Right. Now, what intrigues me or makes me, I look at you and you are a strong law and order candidate. I mean, I don't know if we covered, you were police chief for U of M as well.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
How long was that?
2 years, and I was an executive with the DEA for over 10 years. And totally, there's about 33 years in law enforcement. But a lot of that time, not only was locking up bad guys, but I spent a lot of volunteer time working in drug treatment and recovery efforts in regards to serving on nonprofit boards. I'm a firm believer in giving back to the community. That's the way I was raised.
Right.
And, there's so many things as a law enforcement leader you can do once you get in that position. You just have to have the passion, the energy, the drive, and most importantly, the proactive vision. And this problem with the heroin epidemic didn't happen overnight. I'm wondering where law enforcement leaders were several years ago when they could see it creeping up, and where the community leaders were. I saw it happening. Other people saw it happening, but I think people have been asleep at the wheel, and I'll come right out and say it. I would have done things a lot different. You need to be a proactive leader, and that's part of thinking outside the badge, envisioning and seeing problems before they become epidemics.
Right. Well, man, I got to say I've loved having you in today. Or maybe I don't know if I'll have time to get you in again before the election comes, but you are like the Superman cop because you've got that law and order, and if you look at Ken Magee, you'll say, oh, he's a hardcore guy. You've got the compassion, which we don't see or even expect anymore in our police. When we see so much anti-police stuff going on in this country, it bothers me that, you know what, cops are people too. And many of them, like you, have the compassion. You actually care. This is not just a job for you. This is something that the passion just comes out of you like cologne. It's huge.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I was raised, my parents were very good, and my mom always taught me to be humble. But my campaign manager says I have to speak about myself, and my mom and I laugh about that to this day. She's 90 years old and is always giving me advice. And having said that, it is a passion. And I will put it in another perspective. As I said to you earlier, I lost a brother to a drug overdose. My passion in making this community safer, also I want to put my money where my mouth is. And I would like your reading and listening audience to spread this word. If I'm elected sheriff, I won't take a salary the first year. The $122,000 salary that comes along with being the sheriff, to me, will not go into my pocket. It will go into drug treatment organizations such as Dawn Farm or Home of New Vision. They do great jobs in the community. Both of those agencies are nonprofit. If you're looking to leave an agency in your will to bequeath money to, or looking if you win the lottery and you want to give money to an agency, look at Dawn Farm. Look at Home of New Vision. Those are the kind of organizations that are making change and putting people's lives in the right direction. And if I'm elected sheriff, I will not take a salary the first year. I will dedicate that money towards drug treatment and prevention in this community. That's how serious and how passionate I am. And I greatly appreciate you recognizing my passion.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so I want to put a call out there to our business people who support this station, who support our programming here. You know what? Get hold of Ken. Let's get some money into his election fund so we can get, I'd like to see a back page of the Ann Arbor Sunday paper or something. Because you know what? I think if people see you, hear you, read you, they will vote for you. Because it's common sense, it's compassion, and it's law and order, all in one super package. And that's why, you know, I've really been a big supporter since the moment I first saw you on YouTube.
I've never understood why the sheriff's race has to be a partisan race. I've never understood why you have to divide things into Republican and Democrat.
Right.
And recently I sent out an advertisement, and the majority of my campaign has been self-funded. I have had some people invest in me, and I'm very appreciative of that. And all their names can be found on my campaign finance records that I file quarterly. But I've never understood why people divide things up into party lines. Because at the end of the day, it's about fairness, equality, and making the world a safer place to live. And in my most recent flyer that I sent out to many residents throughout the city of Ann Arbor, I urged them to consider crossing party lines. Because after 49 people died last year and 83 people in the last 18 months, it's unacceptable. There's got to be a different strategy. And I urge them to understand that they have the power to save lives. So I urge certain people who are out there to consider crossing party lines because they can help save lives.
That's right.
And that is not only my promise, it's my dedication to duty that I promise everyone. That's what I'll be focused on.
Right. All right, so folks, that's Magee, Magee 4, the number 4, Magee4Sheriff.com, okay?
And the Facebook page is Ken Magee for Sheriff. And a majority of this conversation has dealt with the heroin issue, which is a major, major priority. But I would like to sum up that I see other issues in our community that I will tackle as well. I want to continue with embracing certain communities to make sure that people understand the role of the police officer. I want to take a look at human trafficking and several other issues that make the world a better place, even cyclists on the road. So I thank you so very much. I greatly appreciate your time today.
You got it. Thanks, Ken, and I appreciate you working so hard. We'll see all of you on the other side of the break. Take care. Good job.
People are always on the move, driving to work, hauling the kids to practice. How do they keep up to date? They listen to Wham Talk 1600 just like you. If you're a business owner, your message can reach these people wherever their travels take them. People tune to Wham Radio for intelligent conversation with hosts like Joe Pags, Glenn Beck, Tyrone X, and Dana Lesh. And they'll stay tuned for your message as well. Call 734-971-1600 today and advertise your business on Wham Talk 1600 and whamradio.com.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Donald Trump leveling a new accusation against his opponent, suggesting Hillary Clinton may have been on drugs during their last debate.
I think she's actually getting pumped up. If you want to know the truth, she's getting pumped up. You understand?
Telling the crowd in Portsmouth, New Hampshire that they should both be drug tested ahead of their next and final debate. Hillary Clinton prepping for that face-off on Wednesday, which will be moderated by Fox's Chris Wallace. Right now,
Clinton is not taking any questions from any real journalists, only doing friendly interviews like the one she did with Ellen DeGeneres yesterday.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin. And some workers moving from the bottling line to the picket line at two Jim Beam distilleries in Kentucky, where more than 200 union workers walked off the job today. Company saying that contingency plans will keep operations running to maintain the flow to distributors and consumers. Fox News, we report, you decide.
This is Mark with Ashelman Equipment. Need help with your property maintenance? Ashelman Equipment has LS tractor loaders ready to go. Power steering and hydro transmissions make driving fun and easy for the whole family. Want to stay out of the weather? Cab tractors with heat and AC in stock. Buckets, forks, snow blades are changed with just a pull of a lever. LS Tractor is the highest quality tractor in the U.S. and #1 in customer satisfaction, awarded by EDA for 2015 and again in 2016. Highest quality, more features standard, 5-year warranty, free loader, and 1.59% financing qualifying. Ashelman Equipment in Whitmore Lake is at exit 50 on US 23, just north of Ann Arbor. Call 734-994-6000. That's 734-994-6000.
Do you still believe in the golden rule? Then you must feel surrounded by a world that doesn't seem to care about it at all. You've heard about wise guys on Wall Street who rig the system to make sure that part-timers don't have a chance. The politicians who write laws they'll never follow themselves. And the spin doctors they hire to hide their true intentions from the people. Even in your own town and neighborhood, you've seen people turn their backs on each other, close their hearts, and mute their conscience. When free people know the right choice but refuse to make it, we give up on each other, and we give up on our freedom, too. That's what makes good guys so special. They will never give up. We are the 5 million men and women of the National Rifle Association of America, and we still believe in the golden rule. Join us today.
You're listening to The Drift on Wham Talk 1600. Join in the conversation at 734-822-1600. Now, back to your host, Gary Wellings.
And welcome back. Thank you for tuning in to catch my drift. And what we do every Saturday is go over the news of the week and have guests coming in. But let's take care of a little business. Our sponsor this half hour is Wellbridge of Pinckney. They just had an open house this week at their Pinckney location. You can reach them at 517-375-5363. That's Wellbridge of Pinckney. And they're located on Howell Street, South Howell Street in Pinckney, 734-954-6700 is the other line you can reach them at, 734-954-6700. They specialize in post-acute rehabilitation and nursing care. They are designed to provide a bridge of recovery to wellness. So check them out at thewellbridgegroup.com. Okay, so we're going to talk about news of the week, but we've got a guest calling in, and it's 7th District Congressman Tim Walberg. Tim, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fine. Maybe they can be a bridge to healing for our country, too. So.
Don't we need some, Tim? Don't we really need some?
We do. We really do, and it's a shame that in a time when This administration touted the fact that they would be the great unifier. We've had nothing but disunity develop in this country. And that comes from